Roman, good morning. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate the intro as always. And look, man, Billy Miller was my boy for a long time. I used to go out there and work out with him in California. Out there when I used to work out / hang out, mostly party when I'd be in there in the office.
Yeah, I've always like wished that I could have the experience of being a professional athlete hanging out in LA in the off season. I mean, it's just got to be the best.
Well, first and foremost, I'd have my drop top shipped out there because you got to have a drop top.
Yeah,
sure. Be in LA. Like, there's no better feeling to go up there. I'd stay in the Hollywood Hills right there. I'd rent a place for 3 months, be able to write it off because it was part of my working out.
Wow.
And it was nice, man, to be a single man. I had a pool in the backyard. I could see the Hollywood sign at night. It was awesome.
Bro, did you have like a personal assistant at the time, just like running around getting the laundry and stuff for you?
No, man. I usually do all that stuff myself, man, because I go work out.
That would have been great for that role.
Like working out. I mean, I always had a homeboy or something come visit me at some point. But, man, to see the different kind of houses, because every year it'd be like a different feel. Because, every summer I'd rent a different place in the hills. And just, it was a way of life, man. It was a beautiful time.
Man, I hadn't had FOMO like this in a while.
No.
T-Bob was all SEC. I wish you could have been all pro, bro.
Yeah, I know, man.
I backed off of you forever.
We could have done it.
Roman, so one of your former teammates is going up into the Ring of Honor this week. He was the captain of the '09 Super Bowl team. He was there before Katrina, which I thought was fantastic. Will Smith tragically taken in the streets of New Orleans, that everybody misses him from April of 2016. You played alongside him. What's this weekend mean to you?
It's huge, man. I know the crowd's going to be heavily involved, and that's really why I give the New Orleans Saints the edge this weekend. Actually, because of the whole Will Smith thing. I think it'll be emotional in the building. I think you have some family there and a whole bunch of friends and some old teammates who will all be there. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make it, but I will be there in spirit. And I know John Vilma will be there and some other my past teammates. So everybody's looking forward to, man. It's sad and tragic the way Will had to go, and he'd be dearly missed. He's still missed all the time. And just, and it's unfortunate by the person that shot him too, because, you look up, man, and no family on either side is better than the situation.
Right.
I think the more of the conversation should be had, because this young fella had kids as well. His son will grow up without a father, the same as Will Smith's 2 boys who also grow up, and their daughter will grow up without a father. And, fatherless homes is what half of most of these tragic situations kind of stem from. So I think if we can kind of really get at the root of the whole issue, we can really start to make some change, not only in New Orleans, but in Baton Rouge as well.
He was a guy that was so committed to the city. And it wasn't just about the football, the change that he was trying to make within the city, the good for everybody. Give me one story about being his teammate.
Well, the thing that most people don't understand is that Will was never wrong, right? Like, no matter what the situation was, like he hardly ever worked out. He was naturally a really strong guy. So he'd come in there with the weight room. He'd have his newspaper, a cup of coffee every morning, come in there talking to the strength coach. They talk about all these other issues besides football and totally get him off subject where he never had to work out. They would come in, he's been in the weight room an hour and a half, but he just hadn't touched the weight. So it's just like crazy, all the funny stories that we got of Will, how Will would be so wrong. He would argue with you for like 30 minutes on a subject. And then like we finally get a couple people to try and say that he was like, say, all right, if everybody's going left, Will's like, no, man, you got to go right. Everybody else starts saying like, no, it really is left. That's where we were supposed to go. Will was like, dude, that's what I was saying the whole time.
I mean, that's a great technique.
It's a heady play.
And then he argued with you about like, bro, I was saying left the whole time. Like, I was saying like somebody else was saying right, and it never failed. This was Will Smith, like every day of his life, and he'd always have his Yankees hat on or anything representing New York.
Wow.
That's just who Will is, man, and who he was. Loved this dude to death. He was such a great ball player and also a person. He's the first person that introduced me to wine my rookie year. We go to defense dinner. I was so used to Alabama smashing some beers at college, you know what I mean? Doing my normal thing, you know.
Where's the Natty Light, Will?
But like, you know what I mean? I was actually Coors Light. I was more of a Coors Light.
Okay, right on. Ride the silver bullet.
RTR.
Yeah. And then, but Will's like, nah, man, you got to go on this red wine, man. Red wines are the finer things in life. So he started introducing me to red wine. And now I gotta say, I'm a wine guy.
Yeah, and I would imagine that you had some great wine in those houses in California as well. Yeah, look, man, I just really happy to see Will Smith's life honored and celebrated this weekend. Now, this is never an easy transition when you go from talking about something as sad room, but let's talk about the Saints and football. And before we look forward to this Sunday, what about last Sunday, man? Getting it done in the Dome versus a Dallas Cowboys offense that has been fire hot, obviously, as a defender. I think you can appreciate it more than most. What did you see out of that Saints defense Sunday?
I thought the D-line played extremely well. Not only that, but the coverage to go along with it was huge. Von Bell came up with a couple big turnovers. A.J. Klein punching the ball out. So you look at those things. They did everything they need to do to win the game. Whenever you go up against a big defensive line like that, the best offensive line, the biggest thing you need to do is get your defensive line on the go. They need to be moving and attacking. Don't stay in the same place that you line up at after the ball snap. You have some kind of motion to get these big guys off filter. I think they did a great job at Malcolm Brown, Cam Jordan, Davenport, and those guys really rushing with purpose, understanding who their quarterback is, not allowing Dak Prescott to get out the pocket, making him make throws, tough throws inside the pocket. David Onyemata making that big game-changing sack at the end of the game. That was the only sack they had. The way they slowed down Ezekiel Elliott, I really thought them stopping and limiting that run game was the game changer, what allowed them to be successful defensively. Marshawn Lattimore, you think he doesn't read the papers and understand that people saying he's giving up the most yards in the NFL, That boy showed up in a big way last Sunday night, man. That is what he can do week in and week out. I told you guys that the biggest thing is all going to be about tackling, understanding where you're at in the defensive back-wise. And they're playing at a great level right now. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with a sense of urgency. You saw that last Sunday. Not only that, but they understand that, hey, we're not going to get a lot from our offense, so it's on us. It's on this defense. We're going to go out there and do whatever it takes to win games, and they're doing that. They're playing like a great team, a team of purpose, a team with goals, and it's not just like we're trying to beat this team. We got different plans. We're looking for the future, and they're trying to get there. Alvin Kamara, this boy's a game changer. I just wish they'd give him the ball 35 times a game, like Carolina Panthers here do with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, we're talking to Roman Harper, Super Bowl champ, two-time Pro Bowler, former New Orleans Saint, great here on off the bench. And you mentioned what they did to Ezekiel Elliott, Rowe. I was pretty shocked to read this. If you look up yards per game leaders for their careers, Jim Brown is 1 at 104. Barry Sanders is 2 at 99.8. And Ezekiel Elliott is 3 at 99.8. So, yeah, a dominant performance there. I did want to ask you about Lattimore, though. How do you just turn it around that quickly where you go from struggling to then shutting down Amari Cooper?
Well, I think I talked to you guys about this last year. I think a lot of that has to do with game plan. The Saints did not play single high safety a lot. They made a conscious effort to make sure their D linemen, you got to win your one-on-ones or you got to win up front. They stopped the run game with that front seven, allowing them to play 4 guys back at all times on defense. Sometimes the coach helps the player out by saying, hey, look, we got a really dangerous target on Amari Cooper, so we're going to make sure we got some guys in the back to make sure we keep eyes on that. Not only that, but Marshawn Lattimore was challenged. I think that him going up against another top-tier receiver, he looked at it personally like this is going to be my challenge. I'm locked in. I want to shut this guy down because these guys want to be known as the best. And anytime you go up against the best, it's going to bring out the best in you. I think Amari Cooper is a magnificent receiver. And I thought it was a great challenge for Marshawn, and he stepped up to the plate. He made plays when he had to. He was a great tackling. He was right there on him, challenging every throw, every catch. And for that, man, I think rush and coverage all played a difference in it. And as a whole, I think that they played lights out last week.
El Rio Grande Mexican Restaurant over there on Airline Highway, and the Hemp Doctor online at thehempdoctor.com, bringing you our weekly conversation with Roman Harper. Roman, as an ex-NFL defensive standout, what are your thoughts when you see Vontaze Burfict suspended for the season after a helmet-to-helmet tackle?
Personally, I understand the suspension. I support the suspension, but I do not support the length of the suspension. For you to suspend a guy 12, 16 games, whatever it is, I just feel like that's so much for it. In the game thing, look, he was dead wrong for what he did. I saw the action. Not only that, but Burfict has done these things. I would have liked for an 8-game suspension, personally. I thought that would have been sufficient enough. And, but it's one of those things. Look, the game is changing literally right in front of our eyes. I played when you could just tee off on a guy my first 2 to 3 years in the league. Then they went to where you had to, you couldn't hit certain guys but a certain way. Then after that, you continue to change the rules. And now I don't even know where or how you can hit a guy because you can't fall on a quarterback. You have to fall off to the side or, if you hit a receiver and he lays down for more than 3 seconds, they're going to throw a flag whether you hit him high or not. You just look like you hit him too hard. So I don't know how you're supposed to go about these things as a defender. Not only that, but they're taking money out of our pockets on a week-to-week basis with the fine because it's not like I'm just getting a penalty on Sunday. I'm getting a FedEx in my locker on Tuesday for $20,000. Those are the things that we're not talking about, how it's really affecting these players, man. And I just hate it for the defenders right now. I'm a defensive guy. I look at other plays and other examples going on every Sunday, and I just don't know how you want us to play. Quarterbacks, look, if you don't want to get hit, slide. I don't want a quarterback trying to run me over, trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. Then I hit him in his face, and all of a sudden I'm wrong because I hit him when he's bigger than me. So I need to just defend myself. I'm wearing a helmet just like he's wearing a helmet. If you don't want me to use my helmet at all, then let me just take the helmet off. I don't understand it.
You the best, bro. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.